very good question, Hembo. For the great Jalen Rose who gets up with us here. Jay, LeBron James has played in 50 playoff series. Who is the only player in history to appear in more?
I love you, Hembo, very much, and I appreciate you for taking it easy on me today. So, Greeny, here's how you get to the answer.
Yeah.
In order to play in more playoff series than LeBron, I mean, you have longevity. That means that you have to play in the modern era, like the 2000s, so that eliminates Kareem. That also means that you have to be really good and have more rings than LeBron. So I'll say that person is Timothy Duncan.
Oh, so close, so close. Oh, I guessed Kareem. I was wrong too. It's Derek Fisher.
Oh,
that is
wow.
such a good. Oh, but Tim Duncan is a great guess. But it's Derek Fisher. Look at Hembo. That's such a devious answer. The other names on the list. Look at this, McNutt. Look at this. The other names.
That was my guess. Robert Horry.
I guessed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He guessed Tim Duncan. The answer is Derek Fisher.
Wow.
That's a great question.
That was a deep fish.
That's a great question. All right, McNutt is here. Jalen is here. That was a good one. I enjoyed that, even though I would love for him to have gotten it right. Okay, so let's talk about these Lakers, Jalen. They get a Minnesota team that is going to come in shorthanded tonight. No Rudy Gobert. Huge advantage for LA. If they win tonight, they get that 7 seed. They get almost an entire week to rest. Your buddy and mine, Big Perk, said on First Take yesterday, the Lakers are winning the West. What do you say?
I don't believe they're winning the West, but they go from being a team that's a part of the play-in. Let's not ignore the play-in is what the Lakers are a part of. Mm-hmm. They're going to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves because of Rudy Gobert in particular and his poor decision to put Kyle Anderson in the middle of a basketball game. And obviously Jaden McDaniels to punch a wall in the middle of a basketball game and fracture his hand. But with that being said, they get out of the play-in and they do get to the second round. Now, when you play against Memphis, Ja Morant is spectacular. And Desmond Bane is a great backcourt teammate, and Dylan Brooks is going to continue to be one of my favorite irrational confidence guys in the league, and Jaren Jackson Jr. is my defensive player of the year. But I would likely pick the Lakers to win that series as well. However, as you continue to advance in the playoffs, the game is going to slow down, and this is where I disagree with Perk. In the half-court offense, we know what we get from LeBron. We know what we're going to get from high-level AD. Monica, you're going to need more guys that can get you 15, 20 points in the quarter that can create their own shot in crucial moments. Therefore, I believe that team that's going to win the Western Conference is the Phoenix Suns. Mm-hmm. Kevin Durant, 55% from the floor, 40% from three, 90 from the free throw line. They're undefeated with him in the lineup. Devin Booker just led them to the NBA Finals 2 seasons ago. They're going to be virtually unstoppable when the game slows down. And DeAndre Ayton diving to the basket, touching the ball around the hoop, finishing and playing defense. And Chris Paul spotting up and making threes. So the Phoenix Suns, for me, are my choice to win the West.
I didn't even ask you this all morning long, McNutt. Who do you like to win the West? Lakers, Warriors, Suns. There's so many intriguing Nuggets who we seem to be overlooking. Go ahead.
It's so tight. Yesterday, I reserved the right to change my mind. The Suns were my team that I thought had the edge. And in fact, I was just digging into some of Devin Booker's numbers because I actually think as excited as we are about the addition of KD, you got to look at Devin Booker as a guy that has been there. And to Jalen's point, he shot like 45% and averaged 28 when they got to the finals in 2021.
Yeah.
The 2021 season. I'm still a little bit concerned about their depth in the nature of a series, Jalen, right? Like, yes, there's a beautiful small sample size in which KD has made that team virtually unstoppable, but the cadence of a playoff run, 16 games to get to a finals, right, or to win a finals, is a little bit different with them. But I also think, Memphis is hurt, but I do wonder what they gleaned from their experience last year.
It's worth pointing out, as Jalen said, if the Lakers win tonight, they would get Memphis in that first round. No play-in team has ever even won a round. If LeBron and the Lakers were to get through that, it would be the first time. I know it's a small sample. There's only been a play-in for a few years, but no team has done that. Okay, let's talk about a team that didn't even come up there, and that's the defending champs. Jalen, I know you've heard this, but for anyone who has not, this was Klay Thompson a few days ago sounding awfully confident about the Warriors going forward. Listen.
We have to value the ball more, take great shots, and communicate on defense. We do those three things. I don't see a team who can beat us in a 7-game series when we're healthy.
Jalen, he said, I don't see a team who can beat us in a 7-game series. They get a first-round matchup with Sacramento. They won't have to get on a plane in that entire series. It broke really nicely for them. How about the defending champs?
Poor Sacramento, by the way. Shout out to Mike Brown, this year's Coach of the Year, and De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis. They've had a terrific season. Keegan Murray as a rookie knocking down threes, breaking their team record. But we all know that 6th spot is that sweet spot that many teams with veteran-laden squads wanted to play against the Kings. And unfortunately for them, they draw the Splash Brothers healthy with Draymond Green. Wiggins is going to return. Jordan Poole continues to emerge. Steve Kerr's on the sideline. Mike Brown used to coach with them. And as you mentioned, Greeny, they don't have to travel for the next couple of weeks. That's going to allow the Golden State Warriors to put themselves not only in position to possibly win this series in 5, but give them a level of confidence that they can go a lot further. This is going to be a lot more interesting to me than in the East, because the teams at the bottom of the West, they've been there. They've done that. You've seen Kawhi Leonard hoist the trophy. You've seen the Golden State Warriors, LeBron James hoist the trophy. You haven't seen Denver, Memphis, or Sacramento do it. So therefore, I would not be surprised if the lower seeds actually end up being the squads that advance in the West and possibly be in the Western Conference Finals.
Okay, but Jalen, help me a little bit, right? Like, is it truly a switch that we get to flip once we turn postseason? Because in that audio, shout out to your co-author, Greeny, Himbo, who pointed out Klay Thompson says we have to hold on to the ball. They turn the ball over 16% of the time. That's second worst in the league. You know who's first, Jalen? The Rockets. And so, yes, we have entered the postseason, but is it truly as simple as healthy Wiggins, healthy Peyton, flip the postseason switch if you're the Warriors? Because the difference for them on the road versus home, like, that's crazy, Jalen.
Is it? Quickly, Jalen, can they just flip that switch?
Monica, yes, they can, because to Klay's point, their starting 5 hasn't gotten eliminated from the playoffs when they're healthy. And yes, they've struggled all season on the road, but you only need to win one road game to flip a series. And you and I both know Steph Curry and or Klay Thompson during a playoff series are going to have games where they don't make just 5 threes in a game. They make 10 threes in a game. And then all of a sudden, that just changes the whole dynamics of what's happening throughout a series. So I absolutely believe an older bunch that's won 4 championships understand that they're going to tighten the screws as the playoffs start over the next couple of days.
Let me give it one more thing in here. You've heard Jalen mention some postseason awards. Both he and I are voters. Our ballots were due last night. And I think, Jalen, we have a lot of the same, because you just said you voted for Mike Brown, Coach of the Year. So did I. You voted Jaren Jackson for Defensive Player of the Year. So did I. Who did you vote for MVP? That's what everyone wants to know.
So I've been playing 3-card Monty with this. I've been playing musical chairs with this because I want to make sure that I got this one right. I wanted to pay Giannis Antetokounmpo his due for a guy that's the first person to ever average 30 points, 10 boards, and shoot 55% from the floor. Best player, best team. I wanted to make sure I acknowledged the Joker, the back-to-back MVP, flirting with a triple-double, and has been terrific this season, leading the Denver Nuggets to the #1 seed. But when I look deeper in the box score, the most complete player of the 3 this year has been Joel Embiid, the most unstoppable force. That's why he got my vote. Looking back at the season, he hasn't had any valleys, Greeny. He's scoring on the post, turning over both shoulders. No weaknesses there. Virtually unstoppable in the paint. Contesting and blocking shots on defense. Changing shots on defense. Literally being their anchor. Not only leading the league in scoring, but also developing that mid-range free throw line jump shot. And so the way he dominated the Joker head-to-head, he's had 3 50-point games this year. I believe Joel Embiid separated himself above replacement, like they would say in baseball.
Yeah.
And therefore, the Embiid gets my vote for this year's MVP.
So again, his ballot and mine look a lot alike. I also voted for Embiid. Who would you have voted for?
I don't have a ballot. I don't think I want a ballot. This decision is very, very challenging. And Jalen, I love everything that you pointed out, but I actually am still leaning with the Joker on this one. And for me, it wasn't so much about the individual glamour that you talk about when it made you tilt toward Joel Embiid. It was kind of simple. Like, he's not playing alongside any other All-Star. Like, he has the least help. He's been able to he's had to literally carry his team the most. And I understand that Joel Embiid since Christmas has turned it on, right? But like, Joker's been there all season. I know they kind of limped a little bit down the stretch, but I still think that the Joker had the most compelling case.
Jalen is freaking out, but I'm out of time. Jalen, I got 10 seconds. Respond. Go. 10 seconds.
Monica, I got to remind you of something.
Tell me.
This year, Joel Embiid wasn't playing with another All-Star either.
It's true.
Because James Harden wasn't invited.
That's a good point.
Yeah. And